Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you are able to hear me, please reply on Zoom chat. Okay. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. We will continue with yesterday's topic. We were from past few days, we are discussing about mabniuns, different types of mabni, which do not decline in the three statuses of the Al-Asma. So, and the topic that I was taking was related to dual numbers, Al-Muthanna. Now, according to the author, uh, the author mentions Al-Muthanna kullu al-alamati fihi far'iyatun. So all the alamat, sorry, we were talking about we finished the Mabni topic. We are talking about two kinds of alamat of Mu'arab. Okay, al-asliya and al-far'iyya. And as I mentioned, al-asliya are those which are like normal declinations, like in the Rafa Nasab Jar, they are Dhamma, Fatha, and Kasra. And in the Far'iyya, these are mostly dealing with the combinations, okay, or different endings, not just Dhamma, Fatha, and Kasra. So we are discussing about the Far'iyya, okay. المثنى كل العلامات فيه فرعية. In مثنى all are فرعية وهي, and they are علامة الرفع الألف. I have already explained this to you in the slides. So yesterday I took the slides of Jama, Muzakkar, Salim, Jama, Muanass, Salim, as well as duals. Okay. علامة الرفع الألف. For example, نحو such as غاب طالبان. Okay. طالبان means two students. Who are absent? The two students. Okay. So this is fa'il, طالبان. And it is marfu. It is marfu means, and what is the alamat of it being marfu? Al-alifu. Okay. Al-alifu. Alamatul nasbi al-ya'u. The alamat of nasab is al-ya. طلب المدير طالبين. طلب المدير طالبين. طلب is فعل. Again, المدير is فاعل. So this is مفعول به. So this is in nasab. And its indication is with the letter ya. Any. Okay. And the last combinations in the duals are ani, any. Now, alamatul jarri al-ya'u. And in this, the example of this is هذه الغرفة لطالبين. This is li is harfu jar, so طالبين is majroor. And the marker for that, or the indication, the sign of that is ya. Okay, so let's describe this grammatically. How will you describe طالبين? Okay, it is فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الألف. It is فاعل مرفوع. This اسم is فاعل مرفوع, and its رفع علامة is الألف لأنه المثنى. Why it is الألف? Because it is مثنى. Okay. In the same way, the second thing is مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصبه الياء لأنه المثنى. And the last one is it is majroor due to harf li. So it is ismun majroorun وعلامة الجره الياء لأنه المثنى. Is this clear, brothers and sisters? So this is clear. Now there is something to note here. Now this is هذه الغرفة لطالبين. What kind of sentence is this? What category of sentence is this? هذه الغرفة لطالبين. The last one. It is Jumla Ismiya. When you are dealing with Jumla Ismiya, what are the two terms of Jumla Ismiya? The two parts of the Jumla Ismiya, what are they? What do you call them? Al Mubtada wal Khabar. That's correct. Mubtada and Khabar. Now, what is Mubtada here? What is Mubtada here? Okay, yes. So this is هذه. So this is musharun ilay. So this is ismul ishara, and this is musharun ilay. So this hazi is mubtada. That's true. So what is khabar? No, no. Al ghurfatu is li talibaini. Yes, li talibaini. And what li talibaini is jarun wa majrurun or shibhu jumla. And as you know that mubtada is marfu, as mubtada is marfu, khabar is also marfu. So now when you are talking about this khabar li talibaini, what is the status of this? What is the status of this? This is in the status of rafa. As a combined khabar, it is in the status of rafa. Okay, so I can also say that this li talibaini. I can say jarun wa majrurun. It is jar wa majrur and it's shibhu jumla fi mahalli raf'in khabarun. So these are different. I mean, the more you describe, the more you will know. So here, this is just describing talibaini here. This is the description of talibaini, but here I am describing the khabar. Is this clear, brothers and sisters, that this khabar is in the place of rafa? You know that. I have explained this to you in, I believe, in book 1 or book 2. I don't remember. So this was covered in book 1 and book 2. So that khabar is marfu. So as a combined khabar, though it is a combination of jarun wa majrurun, but it is in place of rafa. Okay, it is in place of rafa. Is this clear? Okay, so let's see more examples. أجاء المدرسان مدرسان الجديدان. Okay. أجاء المدرسان الجديد. Again, this is a case of duals. المثنى. And جاء is فعل. So مدرسان is file. Okay. So what is the how do you know that file is always marfu? So what is the indication that it is marfu? It is alif, due to alif of ani. In the same way for jadidani, alif of ani. Okay. So فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الألف Why it is al-alifu? لأنه المثنى, because it is Muthanna. أرأيت المدرسين الجديدين sorry, أرأيت المدرسين الجديدين. Okay, مدرسين means two teachers. Okay, the two new teachers. الجديدين. أرأيت, have you seen the two new teachers? Now رأيت is both فعل فاعل, so this is مفعول به. So how will you describe مدرسين and جديدين? How will you describe مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصبه الياء لأنه المثنى. Okay. Another example. أسأل عن المدرسين الجديدين. أسأل عن المدرسين الجديدين. I asked the two new teachers. Okay. عن is حرف جر. عن is حرف جر. So these both of them are in place of both of them are ism majroor. So what will be the description of مدرسين or جديدين? اسم مجرور وعلامة جره الياء لأنه المثنى. Clear? Okay. Now let me talk about specifically about Jama, Salim, Muzakkar and Muthanna. So since yesterday I have been talking about Al-Far'iyyah, and which Al-Far'iyyah comes in Jama Salim. The Alamat of Far'iyyah is indicated in Jama Salim Muzakkar, Jama Salim Muanass, as well as in dual forms, Al-Muthanna. Now this is something I'm talking about just Jama Salim Muzakkar and Muthanna, that when these come in the form of mudaf, either Jama Salim Muzakkar or Muthanna, when they come in the form of mudaf, then you make them light. I explained you this in book number 2. Okay, and how do you make any letter light? By removing the sound of noon. By removing the sound of noon. How do you make it khafif? Khafif means light. How do you make it khafif? By removing the sound of noon. So if it is a mudarrisaini, then you will say mudarrisai. You will just remove the sound of noon. Ukhtaini, so you will say ukhtai. Okay. So let's see some of the examples of them. Aina mudarrisul Qur'ani. So this is mudaf. And mudaf have to be made lighter. It's always the case. So you do not, mudaf do not take tanween, you know that. So yeah, and tanween is saqil, it is heavy. And you make, when you remove the noon sound from tanween, then it becomes khafif. Okay. In the same way here, it was mudarrisuna. Okay. It is Jama Salim Muzakkar. It was mudarrisuna. So since it came here as a mudaf, you will say mudarrisu. So the what is the translation of this? Where are the Quran teachers? Mudarrisul Qurani. Where are the Quran teachers? Okay. Another example. أرأيت مدرسي القرآن. Okay. Did you saw the Quran teachers? Did you saw the Quran teachers? Okay. Then أين تدرس أخت بلال. أين تدرس أخت بلال. Now here أخت بلال is, it is in which place? It is in Rafa, right? It is marfu' and it is mudaf. So instead of saying ukhtani, it is referring to two sisters. If instead of saying ukhtani, you will say ukhta Bilalin, means two sisters of Bilal. Okay. Where do the two sisters of Bilal study? Okay. Tadrusu. Why? Okay. So here I'm talking about two sisters of Bilal, but why I'm using tadrusu here? The fi'l is tadrusu. Why? Can anyone answer? Now, tadrusu, why I'm using tadrusu here? Did you understood my question? I'm talking about two sisters of Bilal. Did you forgot? Yes, mashallah, very good. So there is file mawjood, there is file present in the sentence, which is file is ukhtani actually. Okay, that was the file. Okay, so when the file is present, then you only use fail either huwa version or hiya version. Now in this case, it is dealing with feminine gender, so that's why you will use hiya version of fail. Okay. Another example, أتعرفين أختي بلال؟ أتعرفين أختي بلال? Who will translate this? Okay, good. Do you know Bilal's two sisters? You can say, yeah, Bilal's two sisters. Now I want to know تعرفين. Okay, you, it's being addressed to whom? It's yes, very good. Excellent. Okay, another example. أكتبتي إلى أختي بلال. Did you wrote to the to Bilal's sisters? Okay. Now here harfujar is there. Okay. So that's why this is in the majroor form, but it is mudaf. So instead of saying ukhtaini, you say ukhtai Bilal. Okay. So this is again another example just to make you aware that when this happens with Jama, Salim, Muzakkar and Muthanna. Okay. So Alaamatul Al-Far'iyyatu. We discussed Jama, Salim, Muannass examples yesterday. We did Jama, Salim, Muzakkar also. And today we finished the topic of Al-Muthanna also. Now let's go to Al-Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Okay, you know this topic very well. This was being repeated many times in from starting from book 1 and in book 2. I'm going to go through it again. Okay, not in detail, but I will go through quickly. Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Okay. Now, Mamnoo Min AsSarf is it only takes Dhamma. These are those Asma which only takes Dhamma in Orafa, means single Dhamma. It will not take Dhammatan or Dhammatain. It will not take two Dhamma when it is in the Halat of Rafa. Okay, in Halatul Rafa, it will only take single Dhamma. Then when it is in Halatul Nasab, it will only take single Fatha. And when it is in Halatul Jar, again it will only take single Fatha. Okay. And this means this Mamnoo Min AsSarf are never tanween. They do not take tanween. They never take tanween. Okay. So this rule is irrelevant for those words where al is attached, because sometimes these Mamnoo Min AsSarf, when al is attached to them, then they become fully flexible, they are fully declinable. Okay, so here it is in nasab, it is fatha, and jar it is fatha. But when it takes al, then it becomes in rafa damma, nasab fatha, and in jar it becomes kasra. When al is attached to that, or also when it comes as mudaf. Okay, so this is an exception to these words. Okay, so what are the signs of these in different halat, in different statuses? And when it is rafa, it will take dhamma. When it is nasab, it will take fatha. When it is jar, it will take fatha again. Okay, so this is the description of Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Now there are different categories of words which are fall into this category. There are different words which fall into this category. So I have grouped them. Now this is all non-Arab names. They fall into this category. So Ibrahimu it's a Hebrew name. So it is never mentioned Ibrahimun. Muhammadun, it's an Arabic name. So it is Muhammadun. Hamidun, Arabic name. So you will find that it is ending with un. It takes tanmeen. Here it is Ibrahimu. In nasab it will be Ibrahima, and jar it will be again Ibrahima. Same way, Yaqubu, Yaquba, Yaquba. Yusufu, Yusufa, Yusufa. Ismailu, Ismaila, Ismaila. Okay, so all these words are not Arabic names, and especially these first four, they are Hebrew names. So let's see one example. Idhab ila fir'auna. Okay, go towards Fir'aun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told to Musa, go towards Fir'aun. Idhab ila fir'auna. Ila is harfu jar. So Fir'aun is a word in place of jar, but it is again not a Arabic name. So you will not say Fir'auni, rather you will say Fir'auna. So how will you describe Fir'auna in this? You will say it is ismun majrurun. Why it is ismun majrurun? Because of ila. Wa alamatul jarrihi is al fathatu. Why? Because it is ending with fatha. Alaamatul jarrihi is al fathatu li'annahu mamnu' min as-sarf. Because it is mamnu' min as-sarf. Okay. So the second category of nouns is al-asma, which fall into mamnu' min as-sarf, is feminine proper names. So the names of the females. For example, Aminatu, Aminata, Aminata. Zainabu, Zainaba, Zainaba. You will never say Zainabi in majroor state. And the same way, Fatimatu, Fatimata, Fatimata. Maryamu, Maryama, Maryama. All these are mamnu' min as-sarf. Then those masculine names which end with ta marbuta. Ta marbuta means this kind of ta. Okay. So those masculine names which end with ta marbuta. For example, Hamza, Muawiyah, Talha, Usama, all these end with ta marbuta. So they will be again, you will never say Hamzatun or Hamzatan. They will never take tanween. Hamzatu, Hamzata, Hamzata, in the same way. Okay. So this is the another category of mamnu min as-sarf. Then those asma which appear like fi'l. For example, usually you don't see fi'l starting with Hamza. For example, Ahmadu. But there are you don't see ism starting with Hamza, but there are some asma that starts with Hamza also. So Ahmadu, it looks like as if it's fi'l. So Ahmadu, Ahmada, Ahmada. So all these such type of names will also fall into this category. Okay, Yazidu, Yazida, Yazida. Then proper names of places. Names of places. For example, Makkah is the name of a city. Okay, Makkatu, Makkata, Makkata. Yathrib is the old name of Madinah Al Munawwarah. So it is again Yathribu, Yathriba, Yathriba. Pakistan is the name of the country. You will not say Pakistanun. You'll say Pakistana, Pakistanu, Pakistana, Pakistana. Paris, you'll say Barisu, Barisa, Barisa. This is how all these are Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Now, there are some exceptions. There are some countries which only come with al. This is how this was the practice of Arabs, and they have taken some names with al only. For example, al Iraqu. When the moment al is there, as I mentioned when I was explaining Mamnu min as-sarf, then this rule doesn't work here. It will fully decline. So that's why you see al Iraqu, al Iraqa, and it will become al Iraqi in the place of jar. Al Iraqi. In the same way, Al Hindu, Al Hinda, Al Hindi. This is India. So there are some names of the places which only come with Al. Now, there is another exception is those names, the names which are three letter based and the middle letter is sakin. It's taking sukoon over it. These are also fully declinable. For example, Lutun, Lutan, Lutin. Now, these are also non-Arabic names, but again, it is three letter and the middle letter is taking sukoon. So this is another category of Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Oh, sorry, this is this is exception of Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Okay. Now, names of some awzan. So there are some of the wazans, if the words that fall into some of the awzan, they are also a part of Mamnoo Min AsSarf. For example, fa'lan, like kaslanu, kaslana, kaslana, jaw'anu, jaw'ana, jaw'ana. You know this, we have gone through all this. Atshanu, atshana, atshana, ghadabanu, ghadabana, ghadabana. All these are Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Then those on this wazan af'ila'u, those on which on this wazan af'ila'u, aghniya'u, aghniya'a, aghniya'a, azdiqa'u, azdiqa'a, azdiqa'a, atibba'u, atibba'a, atibba'a, and so on and so forth. Okay. So another one is fu'ala'u, fuqara'u, wuzara'u, zumala'u, ulama'u. All the words falling on this wazan, they will be Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Ulama'u, ulama'a, ulama'a. Okay, these are Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Those on wazan wafa'ilu, masajidu, ma'ahidu, fanadiqu, makatibu. All these are on mafa'ilu. In the same way, all the words that fall in mafa'ilu, mafa'ilu. The previous one was mafa'ilu, and this is mafa'ilu. So manadilu, mafatihu, fanajinu, karasiyu, all these are Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Now, names of the colors. Abiyadu, abiyada, abiyada, aswadu, aswada, aswada. So these are the colors. Ahmaru, ahmara, ahmara, asfaru, asfara, asfara. All these colors are the meanings. The colors are according to the meaning, okay? Akhdaru, akhdara, akhdara, azraqu, azraqa, azraqa. All these are Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Then those which are on wazan af'alu, or these words are usually comparative or superlative. Okay. So you know that comparative and superlative. So when there is a comparison or when there is a superlative forms. For example, akbaru, akbara, akbara. So this is on wazan af'alu. But what is the how it will become superlative? When you attach al to any of these words, al akbar, okay, then it becomes superlative. Or when it comes as mudaf, that time also it is superlative. So this is what we discussed, that all the words which come on these awzan, on these wazans, they are part of Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Okay. Now something that I would like to mention, and I mentioned earlier also, the between comparative and superlative. So when you are comparing whether Muzakkar or Muannas, you will use only these akbaru, ahsanu, asgharu, adna, a'la, like this. And when you make them superlative, then the form can change. For example, al akbaru can be al akbaru, but again, as the muannas form of that will be al kubra. Okay. Now this is extra thing. This is not part of the topic. Okay. Same thing. Ahsanu becomes al ahsanu, but muannas form becomes al husna. Asgharu becomes al asgharu as muzakkar form, but muannas form becomes al sughra. And in the same way, adna becomes al adna muzakkar form, but in the muannas form it becomes ad dunya. And a'la, the muzakkar form becomes al a'la, but the muannas form becomes al uliya. Okay. So this topic as it is, I have explained you, which you know already. We have taken this many times. Okay. So before we wind up Mamnoo Min AsSarf, let's see examples of that. Sallamtu ala Ibrahim wa Uthmana. Okay. Now, how will you describe Ibrahim and Uthman in this? How will you describe? Ala, harfu jar, ala is there. So this is ism majroor, and this is harfu ataf here. So again, it will also be majroor. It will be in place of jar. So that is also the ism majroor. So how will you describe it? It is ismun majroorun wa alamatul jarrihi al fathatu Ibrahima Uthmana al fathatu li'annahu mamnu' min as-sarf. Okay, لأنه ممنوع من الصرف. Is this clear, brothers and sisters? Am I going too fast, or is my speed okay? Because you know most of these topics I'm just repeating. It's a revision to you. Okay, so that's why I went it very fast. Okay, so we finished al-far'iyya. In the topic of al-far'iyya, Alaamatul far'iyya, we finished Jama Muannas Salim, Jama Muzakkar Salim, Al Muthanna, and Mamnoo Min AsSarf. Okay, now comes the last category of which falls into Al Far'iyya, which is Al Asmaul Khamsatu. What are Al Asmaul Khamsatu? Do you remember? What are the Al Asmaul Khamsatu? What are they? Do you remember? The five special nouns. The five special nouns. Does anyone remember? Abun, akhun, hamun, famun, zu. Very good. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Good. Okay, so let's go and al asmaul al khamsatu. What are they? Abun, which means father. Akhun, brother. Hamun, father-in-law. Famun is mouth. And zu. Zu also, you know, possessor of it, gives position, the sense of position. Now the author is saying that these falls into the category of Alaamatul far'iyah. Now, how it falls into the category of Alaamatul far'iyah, we'll see that. Okay. Again, this slide you are familiar with. I took this slide in previous courses, in the previous books also, for these five types of ism. So when it is mufrad, singular, abun, in the halat of rafa it is abun, nasab it is aban, jar it is abin. In muthanna it is abawani, abawaini, abawaini. In jama it is abaun, abaan, abain. Mufrad again, another example, akhun, akhan, akhin, akhawani, akhawaini, akhawaini, ikhwatun, ikhwatan, ikhwatin. Now you will say, how come these are fully declinable except for Muthanna? You know that Muthanna we already finished. The Muthanna is it is far'iyya. So Muthanna is already far'iyya. And the alamat of Rafa is alif, nasab is ya, and jar is ya. That is the far'iyya. But you see all these are declining completely. So this is not far'iyya. What is the alamat? If I avoid musanna, I just take out musanna from these examples, the remaining mufrad and jama forms of these five asma, they are taking, in the rafa they are taking dhamma, in the nasab they are taking fatha, and in the jar they are taking al kasra, correct? In the jar they are taking al kasra. So these are fully declinable. So this indicates that these five asma, they are, when they come alone, they are fully declinable, and the alamat is, which alamat is that? It is asliya. It is not far'iyya. What is the alamat? It is asliya. Correct? You agree with me, brothers and sisters? Right? Okay. Now these words can come without mudaf, and they can come when they are without mudaf, then they are not mudaf, they are not acting as mudaf, then they are asliya. And when they are asliya, that means in the halat of rafa they are taking dhamma. For example, abun or akhun. In the halat of nasab they are taking fatha. For example, aban, akhan. And in the halat of jar they are taking kasra. It is abin, akhin. These are some of the examples I took. So when they come as a single alone, they are not coming as a mudaf. In the mudaf form, these five asma, these five isms, they are taking alamat asliya, alamatul asliya. Correct? Is this clear? Now these words can come as mudaf also, and I have taken this topic earlier also, al-asma'ul khamsa, as mudaf. So abun, when it comes as mudaf, it becomes abu. And in the nasab state, it becomes aba. And in the jar states, it becomes abi. In the same way, akhun becomes akhu, akha, akhi, hamu, hama, hami, fu, fa, fi, dhu, dha, dhi. Now here comes this, the moment it becomes mudaf, then the alamat changes. It is no more asliya. What is the alamat of rafa in this as a mudaf? When abun is coming as mudaf, so it becomes abu. So what is the alamat of rafa here is waw. Okay, the alamat of rafa here is waw. And the alamat of nasab, the moment this asmaul khamsa is mudaf, is the alamat rafa and nasab is alif. And when it is coming as mudaf, then the alamat of jar is ya. Now these are al-far'iyya. These are al-far'iyya. Okay? Clear, brothers and sisters? This indicates these al-asma'ul khamsatu, when they are standalone without, they are not acting as mudaf, then they are fully declinable, and they are what kind of alamat they are carrying? Asliya. But when they are coming as mudaf, then they are carrying alamat of far'iyya. Remember this. Remember this. You make it as a big note in, okay? Only when they are coming as mudaf, that time it is alamatul far'iyya. So we have now, we can put everything, the big picture here of all these five types of isms. When it is not coming as mudaf, then it is asliya. In the rafa form, it is abun or akhun, as I took the example. But what is the alamat of fariya when it is mudaf? When it is mudaf, then the alamat of rafa is waw. For example, abu or akhu. In the same way, in the nasab, when it is not coming as mudaf, then it is nasab is al-fatha. For example, aban or akhan. But when it is mudaf, then the alamatul far'iyya is al-alifu. So it will be aba, or another example is akha. When it is jar and it is not as mudaf, then it is kasra. That is the alamat of jar. And it is abin or akhin examples. And alamatul far'iyya, when it is mudaf, it is al ya'u. Then it is abi or akhi. Okay, is this clear, brothers and sisters? Al asma'ul khamsatu. Okay, so let me do some more discussion on this. Now you know that when it is coming as mudaf, then it is taking alamatul far'iyya. So as a mudaf, in rafa it will be abu, in nasab it will be aba, and in jar it will be abi. So what is the meaning of abu when it is coming as mudaf? What is the meaning of abu when it is coming as mudaf? The meaning of that is father of someone. So if I'm saying abuka, then your father. Okay, then I'm saying your father, because abu is mudaf, ka is mudaf ilayh. Okay, abuhu, his father. Okay, in the same way I can say abaka, because it is coming in the nasab form, then again it will be your father, but it is coming due to some reason in the sentence, abaka. Also I can say abika, again it will mean abika means ila abika, I can say towards your father. Okay, so that is the the mudaf means father of. Okay, now let's see some of the examples of these as a mudaf. For example, I say abuka muslimun, is your father Muslim? Okay, so here what kind of jumla is this? Though it is jumlatul istifhamiyah, lekin what, how will you say that? Here this abuka is marfu'. It is marfu', and the alamatul of rafa is wow. Okay, because it is alamatul far'iyya. It is indicated by wow. In the same way, I can say ra'aytu abaka, I saw your father. Ra'aytu is fi'l fa'il, and this is maf'ul bihi, and the alamatul nasb is al alifu. I can even say Hamidun ma'a abika. Hamid is with your father. Hamidun ma'a abika. Ma'a is again, it will make this as zarf mudaf ilayh. Okay, so abi becomes what? Is majroor. So here it becomes. But there is something, how will, if I say my father, how will you say my father? If I want to say my father, I will put ya mutakallim to, I will attach ya mutakallim to abun, correct? I will to abun, I will attach ya mutakallim. So it becomes abi in the halat of rafa. And in the halat of nasab, it becomes again abi. And in jar also it becomes abi. Here it means my father with ya mutakallim. So the confusion is this abi, actually it is abi you, okay? But it is very awkward, it is heavy to pronounce this way. Though this ya, it is taking the this abu is taking dhamma. No, actually, how will you say abu? Abui. Abu is very difficult to pronounce. Okay, so this ba is taking dhamma, but you can is to for easy pronunciation we made it as abi. But we assume that there is a dhamma over that. So we will say that we assume there is dhamma over there. In the same way, in the nasab form, we assume that over ba there is fatha. And in the same way, on the jar, we assume that there is kasra here. There is already kasra here. So this is for easy pronunciation with ya mutakallim. Now let me take some examples with ya mutakallim. I can say abi muslimun. My father is Muslim. Here I mean abi means my father. My father is Muslim. Now, what kind of jumla is this? This is jumla ismiya, correct? And Abu is in the place of Rafa, which is the Abu, the part of Abi is in the place of Rafa, correct? Because it is Mubtada. Okay. Now I can say Ra'aytu Abi. I saw my father. Now this is fail file. So my father is in the nasab halat. Okay. So ba is in the place of nasab. Okay. It is taking fatha. I'm assuming that it is taking fatha. And then I say ummi ma'abi. My mother is with my father. Ma is again. So this will make this as majroor. So this is um, in the status of jar. How will I describe this, all these forms when it is coming as with ya mutakallim? How will I describe abi here, abi here, abi here? Now all these three are abi, but they are at different statuses. They have different Ae'raab. But how will I describe them? How I will do that? I will say this is fa. Oh, this is wrong actually. I should say this copy and paste. Okay. So this should be al mubtada. Huh? And I will say marfu'un. It should not be file. Okay. Al mubtada marfu'un bi dammatin muqaddaratin. Bidammatin muqaddaratin. So sometimes, brothers and sisters, you see some spelling mistakes here because I keep repeating these sentences, so I have to type with all these vowels with signs. So it really takes a lot of effort for me to type. So what I do is copy some sentence here and then start modifying. Sometimes I miss to modify. Okay, so that's why you'll find. So I will modify this inshallah. So this is al mubtada. It is marfu. Bidammatin muqaddaratin means estimated dhamma. I'm assuming there is a dhamma over it because it is mubtada. Muqaddara means it is like assumption or estimation. Understood? That's how I will say. Though there is no dhamma, but I will say bidammatin muqaddaratin. Understood, brothers and sisters? This has to be understood. If you have not, let me know. Did you understand? I will say, just to describe, I will say that it is marfu with Why it is marfu? It is marfu because of Dhamma. It is marfu with Dhamma, which is not visible, but it is estimated. That's what it means. It is marfu with Dhamma, which is not visible but estimated. That's how you will say it. Now, how will you say this? This is maf'ul bihi mansubun bi fathatin muqaddaratin. Same way, it is maf'ul bihi means it has to take fatha, but how I will say it is maf'ul bihi mansubun bi fathatin muqaddaratin. Okay, and in the same way I will say ismun majrurun bi kasratin muqaddaratin. Okay, I can just say ismun majrurun, and I can say bi kasratin also. Okay, so this is how I can describe this different forms of abi. They are coming in different statuses, but how I can describe them. Is this clear, brothers and sisters? This is not related to these five asma coming in the form of mudaf. This is when they are not in the form of mudaf, rather they are attached with ya mutakallim. So this is specifically for these five asma when it gets attached to ya mutakallim. This has to be noted. Okay, so this is a rule only for these five asma when it gets attached to ya mutakallim. Okay, now let's go back to the book. The author says al asmaul khamsatu wahiya. The five special ism are abuka, akhuka. Abuka means your father. Akhuka, he's giving examples. Okay, your brother. Hamuki, okay, your father-in-law. Fuka, okay, means your mouth. Zu means possessor. Okay, all alamat. Okay, kullul alamati fiha fariyatun. All alamat here is fariyah. Okay, this is indicated by waw or alif or ya, and he's mentioning here alamatul raf'i al waw, Alaamatul Nasbi, Al Alifu, Alaamatul Jarri, Al Ya'u. This is what author is saying. Now, here this is in the form, when it is in the form of Mudaf. You have to note that. Okay. All these the author wrote is all the form of Mudaf, because Zu is always acts as Mudaf. You know that. Zu always acts as Mudaf. I explained to you in the previous book. Okay. So that's why the author mentioned Zu also here. Okay. Nahwu, such as Aja'a abuka. So what is the alamat of rafa here? Ja is fail. So this is file. So this the alamat of rafa is waw. In the second example, a'rifu abaka. Okay, I know. Sorry. Yeah, I will come to that, sister. I will come to that. Especially for mouth, I will come to that. I have taken a special slide for that, Sister Masarat. Okay. So, a'rifu abaka. Here it is nasab, because this is fail file. It is maf'ulun bihi. So, and the nasab is indicated by al alif. Aina sayyaratu abika. So this is coming as mudaf ilayh. So it is abi is in the state of it is majroor, and it is indicated by ya. Okay. Now the author further says تعرب الأسماء الخمسة بهذه العلامات إذا كانت مضافة إلى غير ياء المتكلم. What does it mean? تعرب الأسماء الخمسة. Okay, the Asma'ul Khamsa decline. Okay, تعرب means they decline. بهذه العلامات, with these alamat, which with these alamat means in the previous slide, as the author mentioned, with Alaamatul Far'iyyat, with these alamat. And he mentioned that. What are those alamat? Al alifu, al waw, al alifu, and al ya'u. By these alamat, إذا كانت mudafatan ila ghayri ya il mutakallimi. When they are mudaf to non ya mutakallim, that means it is not, the ya is not, when they are mudaf to those words which are not which are not part of ya mutakallim, means it will not come as within the ya mutakallim. The moment ya mutakallim comes, then the total form of it changes. Okay. Wa illa u'ribat bil alamatil asliya. And otherwise, u'ribat, they decline bil alamatil asliya, they decline with asliya alamat, as I mentioned. Okay. If it is non-mudaf, then they decline with asliya, which that means dhamma, fatha, and kasra. Nahwu, for example, li akhun. Okay, li akhun. It is what? Marfu, dhamma. Sa'altu akhan. Again, it is fatha, fathatan. Anta ka akhin. You are like my brother. Ka is harfu jar. So akhun becomes akhin. So these are fully declining because they are not coming as mudaf. They are not coming as mudaf. Clear, brothers and sisters? Okay. I'll take one slide and then I will stop. Okay. ماذا قال أبوك? I'm sorry. ماذا قال أبو بلال? What form is this Abu Bilalin? This is mudaf, mudaf ilayh. So see, from the sentence itself, you will know that it is mudaf or not. From the sentence itself, you will know this is mudaf or not. So what is the alamat of rafa here is wow. How will you describe Abu here? Okay. Qala is fail, Abu is fa'il. How will you describe it? You say fa'ilun marfu'un wa alamatul raf'ihi al-waw لأنه من الأسماء الخمسة. لأنه من الأسماء الخمسة. Is it clear? Am I fast? Okay. أعرف أبا بلال. I know Bilal's father. أعرف is فعل فاعل. This is مفعول به. So it is mansub and it is indicated by al-alifu. So I'll say مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصبه al-alifu because it is mudaf. Okay. لأنه من الأسماء الخمسة. And I can even say لأنه it is mudafun ilay. I can even say it's mudaf. But the more you say, the more descriptive you are. Okay. Okay. ذهبت إلى أبي بلال. I went to Bilal's father. Okay. What does it? How will you describe Abi? Now this Abi is not with Ya Mutakallim. See, from the context, I know that this is not. This is not Abu with Ya Mutakallim. How do I know with the context? Because Bilalin is majroor, which is mudaf ilayh. So this itself is indicating that this is mudaf. So how will I describe Abi here? I'll say ismun majrurun because of ila. Okay. And also it is ismun majrurun and also it is mudaf. Okay. وعلامة الجره الياء لأنه من الأسماء الخمسة. Okay, brothers and sisters. So I think I've taken more time today. Inshallah, we will stop here. We will continue this topic next week. Just a special announcement to all of you that next week from Friday, I'll be starting book one. So for those who would like to join book one, they can join. And you can let as many people know to join book one. Inshallah, it will be every Friday, same time. Okay, the link of the class will be shared with you on the Telegram group channel. So let your family and friends know about this course. Okay. See you then next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Barakallahu feekum.